Donald Trump and Kamala Harris are sharpening their economic messages ahead of Tuesday night's debate. Trump wants to go after big government and put Elon Musk in charge of a new commission to get rid of waste in government. He also pledged to slice energy prices in half by unleashing production, and on day one wants to cut regulations. Harris, meanwhile, this week pitching a $50,000 tax break for small businesses. She also wants to increase federal contracts for them and will slap a top 33% capital gains tax on the wealthy. How would each impact the economy and the markets? Let's ask Fox Business's Charlie Gasparino. He, of course, is author of this great new book called Go Woke, Go Broke, the inside story of the radicalization of corporate America. Charlie, great to have you here on a Saturday. So Donald Trump had this big meeting with the New York Economic Club, and despite the connection between Republicans and financial wealth, a lot of the financial guys are not true Trump believers. How did that go over? You were actually there. Did they believe him? Were they persuaded by him?
Listen, I didn't take a poll. My margin of error here is very wide. However, I saw a lot of heads nodding when Donald Trump laid out his economic vision, even on the real MAGA stuff, which was interesting to me because, as you know, this is the New York Economic Club. These are mostly free market people, and they're liberals because it's in New York in that room. But there's a lot of nodding of head when Donald Trump said, listen, we will give you not just a 21% capital gains, keep it where it is today, stop it from sunsetting, which it is going to sunset. Those are the Trump tax cuts from 2017 that Kamala Harris has vowed to rescind. They run out next year. We're going to keep the 21%. But if you repatriate your jobs back home, we're going to give you a 15% capital gains, for corporate tax. And, when I heard that, when I saw that, people looked at each other and started to nod. That repatriating jobs, the enticement with a lower tax rate, is not exactly protectionism. It's where if you want to play, that's a tax. It's called a tax incentive, and our tax code is rife with tax incentives. And I think it makes a lot of sense. And people did in that audience, at least what I saw. And I looked around the room. There was obviously 300 people in the room. I didn't speak to everybody, but that's where it was going. And I think it was a largely receptive crowd on his various measures. And I keep hitting this home, David, he was very detailed in how much he was going to cut taxes, what he's going to do with regulation. He talked about a sovereign wealth fund, which sounds a little pie in the sky because we're in deficit mode right now. You have to get the money from somewhere. He says he wants to get it from tariffs, which is pretty controversial, to invest the money using the money you gain from tariffs. But he, whether you agree with him or not on these things, he was detailed. Now you look on the other side.
Well, before you go to the other side, let me just ask about a preview, if you got any, of how he might go after Kamala Harris in the debate. Does he seem to understand what the other side is trying to do with the economy?
Well, that's one of the other points I would want to make is that he unpacked, now obviously with spin on it, but he unpacked her economic plans, such as we know. They're always in flux. And there's never been anything official. I spoke with Mark Cuban about this, and I said, where is it? Where's the plan? Because he's one of her advisors, and he keeps telling me, well, she didn't know she was going to be president, so you can't expect her to have a plan right now. I will find it'll be astonishing if she shows up on Tuesday at the debate without bullet point plans, like something detailed, because I am sure he's going to press her on the fact that, she was against fracking. She's for it now. She was, where does she stand on this unrealized capital gains thing that she threw out there? Right. The price gouging. He knows what is being floated out there from her advisors. He will go after that, I believe. I have not spoke to one person.
And they also have, Charlie, they also have to deal with this economy because on Friday we got these jobs numbers. The manufacturing, we had a loss of 24,000 manufacturing jobs. Biden is always talking about manufacturing jobs as a big success. Wasn't in the month of August or July or June. And we had these downward revisions. I mean, which economic plan do the folks in that audience think would work better with a slowing economy?
Well, obviously, it's Trump. But here's what I would tell anybody out there that's on the fence about this. You know, we're in pretty perilous economic times. We got a Fed that had to raise rates dramatically to get rid of inflation, even though it's going to start cutting. You know, that has an impact on growth. That growth is slowing down, and it looks like who knows what could be next year, how much it could slow down, and how that could affect the economy. We have a world at war, which also affects the economy in terms of trade, and Trump unpacks some of that. If you put all that together, and you got to look in that voting booth, you got to say, which of these candidates understands this stuff better? And, you know, I don't know how you could say Kamala Harris, at least right now, understands it. She is very 30,000 feet. And I keep telling her advisors, you know, they're telling me, Mark Cuban's telling me, well, you know, you're asking too much. She shouldn't be, you know, she just became, the nominee. She's been the VP for 4 years.
Yes.
She was a long-time politician. Can't you fake it a little bit? I mean, can't you come up with something?
Well, you're stuck with one. You're stuck with one candidate who spent his life in business and another candidate who has spent her life in politics, and there's just no getting around it. At
a potentially perilous time.
Yeah,
David.
Exactly. We got to leave it at that. Go woke, go broke is the name of Charlie's book. Go out and buy it, folks. It's a good read. Thank you, Charlie. Good to see you.